The ultimate battle for the Lok Sabha elections is nearing the climax. The people from these hills and the beaches will vote on the 17th of April along with the rest of Karnataka. In Udupi and Chikmagalur, voters will decide the next 5 years of 3 political leaders. Lots of promises, lots of tall claims, but very little time. And what makes the challenge even tougher is the distance between different areas. It takes almost 5 hours or even more to travel just between Udupi and Chikmagalur. And the Ghat section poses extra hurdles in that too.
The Udupi-Chikmagaluru constituency has scared many politicians away. Not only because of its sheer size and diversity, but also because of the fact that the voters here are very decisive. While on one hand, the Udupi-Chikmagaluru region was considered a BJP bastion, the voters did not think twice before overthrowing the BJP and choosing the Congress in the by-polls as well as the state assembly elections. But now has Jayaprakash Hegde done enough to retain his seat? What is he promising the voters this time around? Let's find out.
In Udupi and Chikmagalur, political pundits forecast that BJP has a fading chance. Though this constituency has been a BJP bastion, the party runs the threat of being overthrown. Ever since Sadananda Gowda renounced his seat to ascend the CM's post, people here are not happy. Also, there is an anti-incumbency wave against the state BJP. Last time, Jayaprakash Hegde won the by-election. Born in Udupi's Kundapur, Jayaprakash Hegde from the Congress is a practicing advocate. He entered politics very early in his life. He has been elected thrice to the Karnataka Legislative Assembly from the Brahmavara constituency and served as minister holding various portfolios. With experience running into years, Hegde is gung-ho about a repeat of his last performance.
Well, the Udupi-Chikmagaluru constituency, apart from being sprawling, has also posed a threat to the Congress numerous times, as the coastal belt is generally considered to be a BJP bastion. But Congress candidate as well as the incumbent MP, Mr. Jayaprakash Hegde, proved everyone wrong by storming to victory in the by-polls 2 years back. And we have with us Mr. Jayaprakash Hegde himself. Mr. Jayaprakash Hegde, you didn't have an entire term to fulfill the demands of the people here. So what are your promises if you're elected to power? What are you telling the people that they choose you this time around to?
First of all, the contact I've developed with the constituents, that's more important. I've visited almost all the panchayats in the constituents. I'm in touch with the constituents. And whatever I had promised last time, I think I've done more than what I had promised.
But Mr. Jayaprakash Hegde, also Araknut farmers, there were issues that they are facing with the Araknut ban. Then the issue that fishermen are facing. Also, Naxalism is a huge issue in the Udupi-Chikmagaluru constituency. And we cannot discount the fact that it is a huge constituency. It spreads 400 kilometers. So how exactly do you plan to tackle all these issues?
Araknut, main issue I've tackled, that is, for the Araknut there was no price. It was only 12,000 rupees earlier. After becoming Member of Parliament in 2012, I requested the Honourable Minister and the Director General of Foreign Trade to enhance the rate of imported Araknuts.
The anti-incumbency feeling towards the UPA government could weigh down on you. Do you believe that?
No, because they are asking, even the BJP candidate is not asking the vote in her name.
Right.
I am asking vote in my name, what I have done, and the contacts I have developed with the constituents.
Well, Hegde seems upbeat about his prospects, but he can't afford to turn a deaf ear to the Modi wave everyone has been talking about. And riding high on this Modi wave is Shobha Karanlaje from the BJP. Shobha served BJP in various capacities before being elected as an MLC in 2004. She was elected as MLA from Yashwantpur in 2008 and was appointed the Minister for Rural Development and Panchayat Raj in the Yediyurappa government. In 2009, she was the Power Minister and also had the additional charge of the Food and Civil Supplies Department. Sources suggest that Shobha was unwilling to contest from this region, but these days she is busy campaigning here.
Well, Well, she is the BJP candidate. She's also the former minister of Karnataka, and now she could prove to be the damaging factor for Jayaprakash Hegde as well as Dhananjay Kumar, as she is a female candidate, and in Udupi Chikmagaluru constituency, as the statistics have told, the number of female voters clearly exceed the number of male voters. And today we have with us Ms. Shobha Karanlaje herself. Ms. Shobha Karanlaje, initially you were reluctant to take up Udupi Chikmagaluru constituency. What was the reason, and now do you feel confident about it?
No, I am confident about my workers and also my voters, because the female voters are more here, and always I fought for female issues. That's why I am confident that all female voters and also the male voters vote for me, because they have seen my work as a minister in Rural Development Ministry and also for Energy Ministry.
Right, and also, ma'am, we understand that there have been reports that say that within the BJP there are factions that believe that you're an outsider to Udupi Chikmagaluru constituency. What do you have to say about that?
No, I started my political career from Udupi, because in long back, 18 years back, in 1996, I was the General Secretary of Udupi BJP Mahila Morcha. As though I am born and brought up in Mangalore, in South Canara, that is undivided Dakshina Kannada. After the dividing Udupi as a new district, the first General Secretary of this district, I was there that time. And for 18 years, I have the contact with these people. That's why I don't feel that I am an outsider.
Right, and also it is a huge constituency from Udupi to Chikmagaluru. The terrain is different. There are the Western Ghats, there is the coast. So how do you plan to tackle the various issues?
No, it's a long constituency. Actually, to travel is very difficult, because the 450 kilometers, the width of this constituency, really traveling the constituency is different, and the people's attitude is different. One side is the coastal, one side is the Malnad area. That's why we have to tackle both the people and both the characters.
They say if winter comes, can spring be far behind? And we saw Yediyurappa campaigning for Shobha in Udupi Chikmagaluru.
Udupi Chikmagaluru, because you see the achievement of Udupi and Chikmagaluru. When he was V.S. Acharya was the ministry here, he done a lot of work here. Just see the district administration office, so roads and other things. People are happy about our performance. Definitely people will give blessings to us.
Well, that was Yediyurappa who expressed confidence about Shobha's candidacy. Next, we move on to a person who was a fish to water with the BJP, but now he has broken ranks with it. Meet the rebel, Dhananjay Kumar. He is a man who diligently followed the Hindutva ideology for 4 decades, but suddenly became secular. Then a Yedi follower, now a Yedi rival. So what damage can Dhananjay do? Will he prove to be a thorn in BJP's flesh?
You have shifted from BJP to JDS. We're talking about a saffron party, then we're talking about a party that carries the secular tag with it. Don't you think that the shift is a little too drastic?
Though you term BJP as a saffron party, I was never saffron. I was a secular person there. I used to treat all the people equal, and now I am more happy to be in a party which is more known as a secular party. You know, I never differentiate between people on the basis of caste, creed, religion, or their language. As you rightly pointed out, I belong to a dharma called Jain Dharma. I don't consider this as a caste. It is a religion, if you can tell, use the English phraseology. It is an ism. It is Jainism. We are known for peace, and we love all people. We treat all of them equal. We believe in truth, and to be very frank, I must tell you that I don't differentiate with the people.
So you don't agree with BJP's Hindutva ideology?
I have been always feeling uneasy there that way. You may ask me 40 long years, how could it be? Right. But the point is, you know, leaving apart that ideology, rest from the platform, I got an opportunity to work there. Now I can tell you I am breathing more freely here. I can work with more enthusiasm and with the new zeal. God has given me little more strength so that rest of my life I will work in this platform.
Do you think that the BJP is over-dependent on the supposed Modi wave?
I think so. That is why I think BJP people are going to learn a lesson in these elections. They never talk about their candidates. They never talk about their commitment to the cause of the people in the constituency. They don't talk about the local problems. They say Modi, anybody can very well say, if at all Modi becomes the Prime Minister, he will sit in Delhi. He will be busy flying to USA, UK and all. He will never come back to either Chikmagalur or Udupi. I mean, I am not trying to belittle anybody. This is the system. But the representative of the constituency should be selected on the basis of their commitment.
It was not just Dhananjay Kumar who turned down the Modi wave. Even the old war horse of Udupi Chikmagalur, Oscar Fernandes, had the same views.
They said you will have a Modi effect in Karnataka in the last assembly election. More and more Modi comes to Karnataka, the more and more vote Congress will get.
With so many developments, Udupi Chikmagalur is a seething cauldron of political activities. Candidates are offering moon to the voters. But what do the voters actually want here?
We have many projects that are cleared by the government, both state as well as the center, which I definitely feel which is anti-environment. Whether it is the power plants in the Western Ghats or the river diversion projects, in the name of development, a lot of environment is destroyed. This is not a true form of development.
I definitely need safety. I need to be freely able to move around at any time, anywhere in my land, topmost priority, and safety for my children. Yeah, because lately we've been seeing and hearing a lot of issues locally about safety for children and women.
I feel that they should make this place much more safer. I mean, that's what I feel should be the biggest issue of Manipal right now. And I mean, when I walk on the roads during the night time, I don't feel very safe, and I see through my eyes that there's eve teasing going on. People come and they throw comments on me when I'm walking, so I don't feel very safe.
Someone who's come from a metro like Chennai, the first thing I find here is that traffic management is extremely bad. For one reason that you have buses and autos. In fact, in Manipal as well, we have this little joke going on among students that if any of us had to die, it'll probably be of some auto coming and pushing us off. So one of the major issues we have here is that there's no driving sense at all, especially in Manipal. And that's on one side. On the other side, you have extremely oppressive policemen who just search for reasons to come and give us a ticket. So I guess this is something that we really want to see a change, especially as students who roam around quite a lot.
Well, there we have it. The people want the candidates to get out of their comfortable cocoon of caste politics and focus on real issues and real development. They do not want just infrastructure and factories and industries coming in. They want real, sustainable development that could sustain the delicate ecosystem of Udupi Chikmagaluru. Will the newly elected MP fulfill these desires of the Janta? We sure hope so. With camera person Gurucharan Singh, this is Nishchita for News 9.